You think he's boring. You see the lights off in his window by 10, or the car that hasn't moved from the driveway all weekend, and you assume his life is small, predictable, maybe even a little bit lonely. You wonder what he's missing out on the Friday night lights, the clinking of glasses, the hum of the city, the networking, the visibility. But what if I told you that the man who loves staying at home is often the one who understands something most people are running from? While the world is addicted to noise, starving for attention, and desperate for the next hit of external validation, he chose silence. And that choice? It isn't a retreat, it isn't a surrender, it's power. The misunderstood architect. There is a quiet, almost clinical assumption society makes about the domestic man. If you aren't out conquering, you must be hiding. If you're always at home, something must be broken. Maybe you're shy, maybe you're antisocial, maybe the world simply became too much for you to handle, so you crawled back into your shell. But this assumption is shallow. It's a projection of people who cannot stand to be alone with themselves for more than 5 minutes. Because not every man who stays at home is hiding. Some are observing, some are building, and some are simply no longer impressed by the chaos outside. Think about the modern social landscape. It's a theater of the ego. We go out to be seen, to be heard, to be counted. We chase invitations to places we don't even like, to talk to people we don't even respect, just to prove we are active. The man at home has looked at that theater and realized he doesn't want a role in the play. While others chase every trend and every fleeting distraction, he has become selective. He has realized that his presence is a currency, and he is no longer willing to spend it on things that leave him bankrupt. That is where the shift begins. The moment you stop being available to everyone, you start becoming available to yourself. The inner fortress versus the outer chaos. Most people live entirely outwardly. Their internal weather is dictated by the forecast of the world around them. Their mood depends on who texted them, who noticed their post, or whether they were included in the weekend plans. If the world is quiet, they feel empty. But the man who enjoys staying at home, he has built an inner world. A space where silence isn't empty, it's full. A space where time isn't wasted just because it wasn't productive in the eyes of a stranger. There is a psychological depth here that echoes the work of those who studied the human shadow. They suggested that the man who turns inward doesn't lose the world. He discovers a deeper one. When you remove the constant static of other people's opinions, you finally start hearing your own thoughts with terrifying clarity. And that is exactly why most people stay out late. They are afraid of that clarity. They are afraid of what their own mind will say to them when the music stops and the crowd goes home. The man at home has already faced that ghost. He has sat in the chair, looked his own reflection in the eye, and made peace with it. The man who cannot be controlled. Out there, in the real world, everything is designed to shape you. The billboards, the social cues, the subtle pressure from friends to buy the newer car, to wear the louder brand, to take the more impressive job. There is a constant rhythmic pressure to be faster, more visible, and more performative. But the man at home is harder to control. He is not constantly exposed to the toxic fumes of social comparison. He doesn't see what he's missing, so he doesn't feel the hunger to fill a void he never had. He isn't performing his life for an audience. He is experiencing it privately. This makes him dangerous, in the best way possible. A man who doesn't need your approval is a man you cannot manipulate. If he doesn't care about being seen at the right party, you have no leverage over him. If he is content with a book, a project, or a quiet evening by the fire, he is immune to the social blackmail that keeps most men in a state of perpetual anxiety. He has found a source of fuel that doesn't require a pump from the outside world. The alchemy of solitude. Let's be very clear about the terminology here. There is a profound difference between isolation and solitude. Isolation is a cage. It's a withdrawal fueled by fear, resentment, or a lack of social skill. It drains you. It leaves you bitter and disconnected. Solitude, however, is a forge. It's a choice. The man who loves staying at home has learned how to turn solitude into strength. While others fear the gap, that moment of silence between activities, he leans into it. He uses it to study his own reactions. He asks himself, why did that comment bother me? What am I actually building? What do I actually value? In that stillness, he gains a level of emotional regulation that the busy man can only dream of. He understands his triggers. He maps out his goals. He develops a psychological root system that goes deep into the earth. When a storm hits the social world, the man with deep roots doesn't even sway. He is deeply rooted in his own skin. Moving with intention. When this man finally does step outside, something is different. His movements aren't random. He isn't wandering the streets looking for a vibe to join or a crowd to hide in. He is intentional. He doesn't go everywhere. He doesn't entertain everyone. He knows a secret that most people ignore. Your energy is a finite resource. It's like a battery that doesn't just recharge because you want it to. So he protects it. He treats his time like a high-stakes investment. If he says yes to an invitation, it's because he truly wants to be there, not because he's afraid of being forgotten. And because of that, his presence carries more weight. When he speaks, people listen, because they know he didn't come out just to hear himself talk. He came out because he had something to say, or someone worth seeing. His no is firm, and his yes is rare. That is the definition of value. The shadow side. But we must be honest. Every light casts a shadow, and this lifestyle is no exception. There is a danger in the sanctuary. If a man isn't careful, the comfort of staying at home can slowly morph into avoidance. It can become a way to duck the necessary friction of growth. Growth often requires us to be uncomfortable. It requires us to clash with other minds, to take risks in the light of day, and to face real-world challenges that cannot be solved from a living room chair. Power without action is just a fantasy. Wisdom without application is just a dream. So we have to ask the hard question. Is he staying at home because he is growing, or because he is afraid to fail? Is he building a kingdom, or is he hiding in a bunker? The answer to that question changes everything. One leads to the development of a sage. The other leads to the atrophy of a soul. The quiet power. So, the next time you see that man, the one who seems perfectly content to disappear for weeks at a time, the one who doesn't post his highlights, the one who finds more joy in his own four walls than in 1,000 crowded rooms, don't rush to pity him. He might not be disconnected from the world. He might just be disconnected from the noise. And in that silence, he is doing the work that most people are too distracted to even start. He is building clarity. He is tempering his discipline. He is cultivating a self-awareness that the loud, frantic world rarely grants. Not all powerful men are seen on stages. Not all leaders are found in the center of the circle. Some are at home, working in the shadows, learning the language of their own soul, becoming something the world will only understand once he finally decides to show them. Until then, let them think he's boring. It's better that way. After all, the most dangerous man in the room is the one who didn't even want to be there in the first place. If this hits home, like and subscribe.